which is the importance of carbohydrates. So let's get started with that first. So in dog nutrition, carbohydrate has got mostly no role to play because when you are giving your dog carbohydrates, it's basically adding to the extra calories because carbohydrate does not get easily digested. Whereas in humans, if you were to go ahead and feed yourself carbohydrates, it would still, in a way, get stored as sugar. But in case of dogs, again, mostly it goes undigested. And that's why it gets stored as more extra calories. The more carbohydrates you feed your dog, there's a more likelihood that your dog will experience mood swings, which also happens to be one of the major reasons that we find as a common baseline for the dogs who are super destructive at the house, or sometimes they end up getting destructive behaviors like constantly barking for hours or tearing things down and not being able to focus on the handler or the owner. So that's why we also get certain complaints like, okay, my dog understands commands, my dog understands what we are talking about, but he does not want to comply. He does not like to focus, but he is not very willing to listen to us. These are the common complaints that we hear. Okay, and apart from this, so understanding whenever you are feeding rice, what it does is it releases energy in short bursts of energy, so it does not give out even bursts of energy throughout the day. So what it translates is when the rice or the carbs start getting processed, it gives a short burst of energy, and during those moments, your dog, experiences zoomies and jumping around and tearing things and barking constantly, being hyperactive. This is very common. So again, as much as possible, if your dog is not someone who undergoes rigorous activities, rigorous workout every single day, it's better that you keep away from feeding your dog any type of carbohydrate like chapati and bread, rice. Sometimes people are like, no, we feed our dog carbohydrate because otherwise, how will the stomach be filled up? So understand one thing, it's always quality over quantity. Okay, so if you are feeding a quality food that directly addresses the dietary needs of the dog, that will hold more significance than randomly stuffing your dog with 300 grams of rice with two pieces of chicken or one piece of one egg or a little bit of dahi. Please don't do that. Your dog needs more of the critical and essential nutrients than carbohydrate, which is not a critical ingredient in for the first place. The second thing is if you would like your dog to have more even, flow of energy, more even flow of energy throughout the day and not short bursts of energy, which results in hyperactive behavior or the destructive behaviors. So try to switch to animal protein. So animal protein could mean, grain-fed diet or even grass-fed diet. And grass-fed diet includes beef and cow for obvious reasons, and as well as lamb. But when it comes to grain-fed diet, which is the chicken, eggs, ducks, and quails, and those type of meats are primarily grain-fed meats. Now, understand one thing: in retrievers, specifically golden retrievers and Labrador retrievers, it's quite common for them to have grain allergens. Okay, which means they are allergic to grain-fed diet. Sometimes this becomes prominent from a very young age, but in most of the cases, what is seen is that it becomes more prominent as they age. So it could be like, let's say, 6 months, 7 months onwards, or sometimes 1 year, and then suddenly you're left wondering, ki, oh, all these days, all these months, he was all totally okay with it. What might have happened? And you are constantly scratching your head and trying to figure out. So if you're not sure whether if your dog has any specific allergies or not, There is one particular test, veterinary diagnostic test, that doctors do recommend, which is the food allergy test. Okay, and if you have a veterinary path lab nearby, you can get in touch with them and get the food allergy test done. So they'll give you a complete detailed list of the food that your dog can tolerate, and it will also highlight the certain type of foods, or what are the particular foods that your dog won't be able to tolerate if it's allergic to something. Okay. Okay, and again, typically, another question that pops in is, how much protein should be given to a dog? So ideally, if it's lean meat, which is non-red meats, which again is chicken, um, fish, egg, and quail, and pigeon. So in those type of meats, you can feed around, for an adult large breed dog, or you can feed around 500 grams, or roughly say 25 to 30% of the dog's weight. Okay, so let's say if your dog is 30 kg, so you can easily feed your dog up to 700, 600 to 750 grams of meat, lightweight, light, lean meat, sorry. So again, that would be helpful. But again, consider this fact that if you are trying to put on weight on your dog, it's very important to give your dog workout. And workout, which means running, jogging, fetch, or swimming, so that whatever you are feeding, whatever quality food you are feeding, it goes ahead and gets absorbed into the body. Otherwise, it's as good as just having fillers, feeding your dog fillers. Okay. Okay. And the next one is, the importance of fat, animal fat. Now, the fat are of two types. One is plant-based fat, and second is animal fat. Now, sometimes many people say, okay, oh, we cannot feed our dog animal protein, or we are vegetarian people. So in those type of situations, what you can do is, flaxseed is a very good source of animal-based fat. It's a great source of fat. It has got a huge quantity of omega-3, 6, and 9. And simultaneously, you can feed coconut oil, the virgin coconut oil, cold pressed. That's again very good quality, fat, that is that provides the same amount of uh, benefits. And when it comes to animal feed, which animal fat, you can opt for pork fat, or chicken fat, or beef fat, if you are the one who likes to feed beef, or if you're someone who has beef at home, then you can opt for that. Okay. Now comes the third part, which is the role of vegetables as well as fruits. Now, understand that typically there are many people who feed a generous amount of vegetables to their, they add a generous amount of vegetables to the dog's diet. But and they say, "Okay, oh, my dog swears by vegetables." See, there's nothing wrong with feeding vegetables to your dog. In fact, you should, but is making it too much of a like too big of a component in your dog's meal. And so you should try to target at just maximum of 30%, 25 to 30% of the meal should be, you can add veg, not more than that, because more vegetables causes flatulence, a lot of gas, indigestion. So you don't want that. The third is fruits. Fruits are very important. You can feed seasonal fruits like banana, or cherry, or strawberries, and So berries are very good source of antioxidants, like blackberry as well. Blackberry is very good. Apart from this, you can also feed watermelon, papaya, mango. It's a very good source of multivitamins and nutrients. Okay. Yes, am I audible? Can you just confirm once? Okay. And lastly, understand one thing: no matter what, if you're not pairing up exercise with food, if exercise is there but the food is not there, your dog is not going to put on weight. And simultaneously, if you are feeding generous amount of food but not giving enough exercise to your dog, again your dog is not going to put on weight. So try to make it a mix of good quantity of non-veg paired up with a little bit of vegetables and fruits. That's a usual way to go. And in certain cases, what you can also do, if you're not 100% not allowed to bring non-vegetarian into the household, you can switch over to dal, which is a very good source of protein. And in fact, we do feed our dogs the same. And lastly, if you really don't have any other option, I would say you just try to get a little bit of dog food, packaged dog food. There are a lot many, and then recently there are many companies who have come up in India and who supply fresh dog food that is cold pressed or dehydrated non-veg. So again, if you are averse to cooking non-veg in the house but can are open to feeding your dog non-veg, then you can consider that option. Okay, so we have a question from Mundar. My dog only listens when there is food in my hand, also does not listen outside. Should I start training her outside the house, and what to do about her listening when food is not in my hand? See, Mandar, the thing is that usually in such type of cases, it so happens that the dog has been, no, the food has not been phased out gradually. If the food has been, if we're trying to phase out the presence of the food in the scenario very fast too soon, then the dog's training will lapse. Okay, and also try to train more in low zero distraction environment, and then gradually increase the distraction as well as distance. Okay, distance means away from the dog. And if your dog is not listening to you outside, it's a very good idea, as again I've said, that try to train inside the house in different rooms. Then try to switch to the passageway, the hallway outside the main door. Try to train in the terrace, try to train downstairs in the garage, and then try to train a little bit outside the campus gate or the residential complex gate or even a building gate. And don't try to make it too fast. I know it's super exciting when your dog starts doing well, but that's exactly the common trap that you want to avoid. Okay, it's too easy to get hyped up and get stuck into that enthusiasm and try to push too fast, too hard. Okay, take baby steps. In dog training, the slower you progress, the faster you move. That's the sole philosophy of it. So we have a question from Deepa Kotian. I have a white husky. He is 4 months now. My question is, he bites me a lot. Please give some advice how to stop this habit. So first is you have to understand why your puppy might be biting you. Okay. So if a puppy is biting you quite a lot, you have to try to track what's the pattern. Is it when he gets super hungry, or is it when he wants to sleep but he's not So why no wanting to sleep is trying to fight the feeling of sleepiness that no he's trying to doze off, but he's trying to fight it. In certain those type of situations, puppies do bite a lot. Okay, and also if the puppies are tired, they resort to that again. Okay, and apart from that, if they are trying to get attention, if they're used to too much of attention, constant attention, so at that point of time, if you try to withdraw it, your puppy will resort to puppy biting heavily. So first things first, chalk out a very definite daily structure for your dog. There has to be very dedicated times where he is left on his own. So in order to execute that, you may want to take the help of a playpen or a crate. Okay. And it's totally fine if you are letting him be inside the crate for 2 to 3 hours every day, multiple times throughout the day, whenever you are not being able to pay attention. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, outside of this, try to give him a workout at definite periods. Not try to entertain the play at random times. What that does is it teaches the puppy that he can initiate the play at any point of time, and if you're not paying attention, he can do random bratty things, and he can get your attention and make you join him. And you'd be like, oh, you'd be too happy. Oh, okay, fine, 5 10 मिनट का ही बात है, थोड़ा सा कर लेते हैं. So थोड़ा सा कर लेते हैं is a very common trap, and usually this continues, and one fine day you are unable to hold it any longer. So it's very important to enforce certain clarity in the dog schedule. It is something that you should have clarity about. That clarity should also be developed in the minds of the other family members, and first and foremost in the dog's mind. So how do you do that? It's very simple. You chalk out a definite schedule for your puppy, just like you would for your young kid. Your young kid has a different time to sleep. Your young kid has a different time to work. No, you do yoga. The young kid has a different time for studies. The young kid has different time for play. The young kid has different time for school, and young kid has a different time for watching movies. Likewise, so you have to enforce it, even if the puppy doesn't like it. That's the reality of it. The fun part is so many people they just treat their no just for sake of it they treat their puppy as their baby, but they do nothing of that sort that they would otherwise do for their babies, their real human babies. So we have a question from Rajat Dev Biswas. Socialization of my dog. Okay, you can socialize your dog, but then I understand ki it's a very incomplete question. You have to clear what's the age of your dog and why are you looking for socialization. First, it's a very important question. Why are you looking for socialization for your dog? What's exactly about the interactive nature of your dog that is that is pointing towards like you need to socialize your dog? Please share it in the comment section if you're online. There's a question from Shubhi. My husky picks up things in the house and eats them away. He is 9 months old now. We have kept him tied always or muzzled him to prevent any harm to him. Okay, so first things first, understand why does your husky pick up things in the house? Just give me a second. Okay, so there's a quick question from Aki. Why my dog gets excited every time I get a food and bites me? So I get a food and bites me. Well, luckily, it's a very good question. If your dog gets super excited when you get a food, it's better that you wait, you delay the process of giving the food until your dog really, really settles down. So you teach the dog that they're super excited, super jumpy, super jumping over the food or trying to bark or scratching you does not get the food. So you have to wait him out. Even if it takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, does not matter. You have to play the waiting game. And it's I know in starting phase it will be like quite exhausting, it will be quite boring, it will be quite irritating. But It is what it is. So again, so let's get back to the question from Shubhi. So understand one thing, that if your husky is constantly picking up things in the house and eating it away, which means that at some point of time when you were trying to raise him while he's a puppy, and every time he picked up something in his mouth, you try to pull it away or try to spear open his mouth and try to get it away. So that automatically taught him to gulp it down. So every time he sees you watching, sees you, okay, you are watching it, and he'll be like, oh, okay, okay, I know. He's constant anticipating, oh, okay, she will come now, she'll try to get it from me. So dogs are very competitive by nature. So if they have something in their possession, they will try to fight you. In what way? Either they'll try to take it and run away from you, or they'll try to gulp it down, or they'll try to tear it. As simple as that. So you don't want that. You want something here, fine. If this is something happening, so you might want to consider teaching your dog a strict no. And if you do not know, and if you're unable to establish a no, and that results in a immediate stopping of a behavior, please take the help of a trainer, or a professional trainer who can help you with that. Okay, and another thing that you might want to consider is teaching him a strict out. Out means out, and he has to do it no matter what. So again, start off with toys or food, whichever gets your dog excited, and then put the foundation of leave it or drop it command with that. So question by Rajesh. My dog always vomits while traveling, and we are touring now for long distance. What should I do? He's 6 months old. First thing first, you never, if your dog is not used to traveling, is not used to taking stress during traveling, you should not feed your dog before the meal, before traveling. Okay, try to feed your dog 4 to 5 hours before the journey time. So either you travel with an empty stomach, I mean your dog travels with an empty stomach, or if that's not possible, then at least 4 to 5 hours before journey feeding. And make sure that you carry ORS water along with you. So every single time that you have to take a break during the halt, something like that, you can feed your dog a little bit of ORS. So that also makes sure that your dog does the dog's tummy doesn't get upset, or does not get disoriented. And let's say if it's a long haul journey for like say 3 to 4 hours journey, or 5 hours or 10 hours of journey, try to take frequent breaks. And lastly, whenever your dog gets out of the car and final destination is reached, uh, allow at least half an hour to 40 minutes before you feed your dog some food, solid food. I hope that helps you. So this is a question from Kea. How can I lessen motion sickness in my dog during car ride? I just answered it. My dog is always in an anxious and sometimes nervous state of mind. What can I do to improve this condition for his better quality of life? Considering some part of it to be genetic. First things first, again, so if your dog is very young, preferably let's say in general, if your dog is young, let's say around 6 months to 1 year, it's a good idea to start feeding your dog small quantities of food while like every week you take the dog out in the car. So when you start the car, maybe in the garage while it's parked, maybe ask someone to just make your car move a little bit, the driver to move a little bit and then take a backup. So while it is you're doing this motion in a small space of garage, feed your dog small portions of food, or you can simply feed the entire dry food bowl of dry food to him. So you do it for 1 week or so, and then we gradually start taking the dog out for longer journeys. So again, the easier way is if your dog is getting super nervous, it's a great idea to do a little bit of obedience if a dog is exposed to it, if a dog knows it, or let's say engage the nose a little bit and engage in a little bit of you know um, food food finding exercise, food sniffing. Okay, but most importantly, understand one thing that if the dog is nervous, don't feed into the nervousness. So if your dog is freaking out, you just hold him and sit. Don't have to do anything. In fact, do nothing. In fact, sometimes the best thing that you can do to help a nervous dog is do nothing. Okay. And so far as anxiety is concerned, see, anxiety essentially means the dog has no clue or is fearful of a worse outcome. So maybe you can take him to a short trips for a quick ice cream, ice cream parlor visit, or a little bit of, let's say, swimming sessions, things that he looks forward to. So try to, make your dog go for small road trips, like 5-10 minutes or half an hour trips, like that. So this way, when a dog starts linking that, okay, getting into the car eventually ends up into something good, then you can slowly fade that out and replace it with longer haul travels in the car. This is a question from Sneha. I have rescued a female Doberman 2 weeks back who is becoming unpredictable with guests. She is alright when she meets them outside, but as soon as they enter our house, she starts barking. First things first, Sneha. Um, okay, so it's still some more information there. She's alright when she meets them outside, but as soon as they enter our house, she starts barking and lunging at people. How to stop this behavior? She was not like this initially. So first things first, you are already putting her in your dog in a state of confusion and anxiety by letting her straight away greet or meet the guests. Why? Why does your dog have to greet and meet other people? I'm not saying lock up your dog, but let's get real. Dogs were not meant to make friends or socialize with outsiders. Even the people whom you call friends, is she doesn't have to make friends with your friends. She just has to be just neutral and apathetic, indifferent. That's the best thing that she can do. Yes, initially she will bark, but after that, if you don't feed too much and you ask her to step down, your dog will step down. But is the worst thing that people do is, when they answer the door, they let the dog answer the door first. When they're opening the door, they allow the dog to, barge ahead and greet the guests and things like that. Why? Why is it so important for you to make, for your dog to even make friends? Or like, why? That's the first question. Because Dobermans, GSDs, and in fact, majority of the dog breeds out of the 240, 300 breeds, established breeds out there, they were bred to alert the owners, the family of guests of arrival of strangers. They were trained, they are genetically, these animals are suspicious of other people. Why do you have to go ahead and try to kill that? That's the first question. Second thing is, the moment when you do it, when you allow the dog to go ahead and forge ahead, barge ahead before you to go ahead and greet the guests or jump up on guests, and then you're complaining that, oh, why does my dog do it? Because you are letting your dog go ahead and take charge of the whole situation. So then now the dog is going to take charge and do whatever way he or she deems it fit to interact with the other unknown people. Stop doing that. Grab the leash, get a leash outside of the, right on the back of your door, main door. And whenever somebody rings a calling bell or knocks on the door, put on the leash on your dog and then keep him away. Keep him away in the sense you can simply go and grab the leash. You slowly open the door. You greet the person first, and then you ask your dog to follow you. And you go ahead and put your dog on a individual sofa or a carpet or mat, anywhere where you can. Now, by default, you can teach her or him stay. Okay, and then you let your dog be there. And that's totally fine. I'm not saying he socially isolate your dog. I'm saying Before you even think about socially, including your dog in there, you need to learn the handling part first. So we have another question from Aki. My beagle puppy is about 2 months old. Should I use treats while training her? Of course, you should. In fact, what we do is when we get home a puppy, we do not use. In fact, I personally never use commercial treats. I never buy treats from pet shops or anywhere like that. I always use the food that I'm feeding my dog. Sometimes it's the vegetables, sometimes it's the meat, sometimes it's the egg. And I solely use my dog's meal to train, especially I have a puppy right now who is 4.5 months old, GSD. So I'm training him all the time with only the meals that I have to feed him. So there's no separate time for using treats to train. Okay. But yes, including food speeds up the process. And but then again, as your dog ages, let's say towards 5th month, 6th month onwards, try to switch to play as a form of reward because majority of the dogs they prioritize food in the first few months. But as they start hitting the semi-adult phase, it's better to focus on play as a form of reward because they find more rewarding as form of or reward over food because once they start growing up, let's say once they start reaching the age of 7, 8, 9 months, their affinity, the priority for the food comes to the second in hierarchy of rewards. Okay, so we have a question from Surabhi Pandey. How to stop my male dogs from fighting? I have two male dogs of age 4 years and 2 years. They never fought, but now they have started growling at each other and had serious fight. Help me to solve this issue. So understand one thing. Here, there's a very good probability that in this case, the dog who is 2 years of age started picked up the fight first or tried to challenge the four. Uh, Again, it's just an assumption, but there's a very good chance that the 2-year-old dog did start the fight. Okay, so it's purely a case of two intact males fighting for dominance inside the house. And the best thing that you can do is put both of them through basic obedience, strict basic obedience, and you also have to make sure that you chalk out the order inside the house. How things are going to be run, what is the rules and boundaries around food time, what is the rules and boundaries around bedtime, what is the rules and boundaries around social interactions. You have to lay it down very distinctly clear. Otherwise, forget about ever being able to let them mingle with each other freely. We have a question from Niladri S. Shaha. How to stop any breed from biting? Well, different breeds bite for different reasons. In fact, dogs bite for a variety of reasons. You have to tell me what is the exact issue that you're facing. I can guide you accordingly. Mostly speech breed are very much moody. So how to help them to bite including feeding, treating of foods or medicine? First things first, if you have a Spitz, where I'm assuming that you are when talking about Spitz, German Spitz or Indian Spitz. Yes, they are moody because most people they do not pay attention when they are being irritating or when they are getting snappy. So they never take their dogs out for socialization. They never take their dogs out for walks or exercises. Okay, and most importantly, they pay too much attention to feeding into the mood swings and tantrums. So, general disciplines, workout, and affection will make sure that you are able to do all of that without much hassle. Share more questions during discussion. Okay, cool. So we have a question from Divya. How to avoid teeth biting? Is teeth biting or teething? Can you just confirm once? What is the age of your dog? So another question from Sumit. Sumit Bosak. My 11 months old Indian Spitz is peeing and potting here and there and 5 to 6 times a day, licking walls and try to eat everything which actually does not eat. Sometimes gets very much Sometimes gets very much aggressive, especially during feeding time. I'm even unable to free him all the time. I'm very much confused. What to do? Kindly suggest me. Thank you. Okay, first things first. Your dog is Spitz puppy is unfortunately going through what we call as teenage phase, which is right now is 11 months of age. He's almost closing around to 12 months, 13 months of age, which is the adulting period, the full adult period. So here, if your dog is peeing and potting everywhere all of a sudden, it is a case where he is trying to push the boundaries and trying to disobey you. Okay. And which also points to a larger direction of not having distinctly clear boundaries inside the house for your dog. You do not have a very specific dedicated schedule for your dog, as well as you might not be addressing the physical and mental stimulation needs. That's very important. So that's first thing first. And if he's licking walls and trying to eat everything which he does not want to eat, and then you have also mentioned that he gets very much aggressive, especially during feeding time. So if that's the case, try to feed him by your hands, but again while you are training. If he does not want to eat, don't feed him. So skip it. Wait for the next meal time. All right. So with that question, we have winded up the today's questionnaires. So let's see if there are any more questions over here. Okay, so if there are any questions left from your end, please post it in the Q&A here in the comment section only. Anybody wants to ask any question in person? Please raise your hand. I will just unmute you. All right, guys. Shall I wait for any more questions? Please let me know. Okay. How to deal with territorial aggression of rescue Doberman? See, territoriality comes very naturally to these dogs. Okay. First thing that you need to teach is a call of command, which means a recall. Try and train extensively for the recall, whether that be a play or obviously use a long leash to while you're establishing a good recall. A good recall goes a long way first. Second is teach your dog to shut up, set a command for it, work on it separately whenever your dog is barking, that's fine. When you say enough or no, in fact, I would say don't establish a no because no basically means something that is non-negotiable and the dog is not supposed to engage in it any further. So I would rather say go for an alternative, set for an alternative command like enough or shut up. Okay, so that basically teaches the dog that okay, right now he needs to focus on another set of behavior and that command instead of going bark. So again, why recall? Because when you're calling off the dog, and then you need to put your dog through in some put your dog into some command, like sit or down or wait or a crate or maybe stay down. Okay, so that both these commands are going to be super handy. So try and work on it with the help of a professional trainer. Okay, and that's all, because territoriality cannot be phased out, it cannot be deleted from the dog, so far, so to say. Okay. And more specifically, if it's a Doberman, you have to understand that they do, are in fact, very territorial by nature. And that comes very naturally to them. So what you're looking for is, yes, after the initial show of aggression or the territoriality, your dog should be able to take an instruction from you, saying, "Okay, wait, enough, shut up, enough, said." The dog sits or the dog stays at one place. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Okay, so we have another question from Aki. How to get bigger puppy dog show ready? Get in touch with a show trainer. Trust me, that's the best thing that you can do. And try and get to know from your breeder if there are some reliable show trainers in your city, and get in touch with them. See if they have a vacancy for admission. If that's possible, go for it. Any more questions? All right, guys. So I will just wind up now. We're already close to 1 hour into this. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you guys again on the next Saturday. Bye bye.